If you're a diehard Raider fan, then you need to subscribe to the Raiders Report, the #1 most watched Raiders show in the entire world. Part of the reason why we are the most watched show is because we give you guys daily videos around the silver and black, 100% free, and every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, we go live. So what are you waiting for? Hit that sub button. Raider Nation, what's going on? You guys are watching the Raiders Report. Mitchell Rents from Chat Sports. And coming up here on today's show, I'm going to give you guys an up-to-date tracker of all the head coaches, GMs that the Raiders have requested to interview or have already interviewed. We're going to get into the latest around Aaron Rodgers because guess what? More drama around him. And then a Derek Carr debate that has gone viral on Twitter and on Instagram. But I wouldn't be able to do today's show if it wasn't for our awesome sponsor, Fetch. So major shout out to them where you guys can earn free rewards on everything you buy. So go ahead, download the free app, chatsports.com/fetch. All I ask you to do is you use promo code Raiders because that tells them that I sent you. So here we go. We're going to get into this Raiders head coach tracker in terms of some of the guys that they have interviewed. So far, it's only been Rich Bisaccia. They've requested to interview Jerod Mayo. They've also requested DeMeco Ryans, which is interesting because Mayo and Ryans are both DCs and, well, I've kind of are both defensive-minded men, and I've gone ahead and said, well, I wouldn't mind them going out and getting an offensive-minded coach. Now, in terms of Jerod Mayo, he is actually at this current juncture flying out to Las Vegas on Monday, and he's got an interview scheduled on Tuesday, January 25th. Everything that I've heard in past about Jerod Mayo, who had a very impressive career with the New England Patriots at linebacker, now is currently their linebacking coach, but if you actually watch and you talk to a lot of the people inside of that organization, they view him more as the DC/linebackings coach. Either way, though, very, very highly respected man. Now, here's the question, because this is what the Raiders Report is about. I told you guys to subscribe earlier on. But what makes us different is we are an interactive YouTube show, and believe me, I know how much you guys like to go back and forth at each other. So Y for yes or N for no? Let me know down in the YouTube comments, should the Raiders hire Jerod Mayo as head coach? Another defensive mind that I want to keep you guys up to date on is DeMeco Ryans, defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the Raiders, I am here to tell you, are interested, in fact, in Ryans, but they're not going to interview him yet. They will wait until after the 49ers and Rams NFC Championship game. So after this weekend, you're going to start seeing some news pop up that the Raiders have requested to interview him. But they have the Raiders I'm talking about have their eyes, from what it seems like, on a lot of DCs. Let's go to the offensive side of the football for the San Francisco 49ers. Let's talk about Mike McDaniel. I am telling you guys right now, a source is telling me that the Raiders are interested in McDaniel, so don't be shocked again if you see it come out after the 49ers and Rams game this weekend that the Raiders are requesting to interview him. He's a really good run-first type of dude, and if you're trying to go with an offense, which basically is a run scheme, which he has learned from Kyle Shanahan, and it also goes on the piggybacking of maybe you don't need an elite quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo because, let's face it, Derek Carr is a much better quarterback than Jimmy G, but Shanahan, that offense has done a really good job building pieces around him, thus helping him win football games. The last coach that we're going to talk about here on the Raiders Report is Josh McDaniels. Now, there was a report that came out last week from Pro Football Talk, and basically everywhere, I even talked about it yesterday on the Raiders Report, that, sure, Las Vegas could actually make a run at McDaniels. Now, the Raiders have had little contact from everything that I personally hear, and they have yet to request an interview, though I have been told that he should be considered a legitimate candidate to be the next Raiders head coach. Now, earlier in the show, I believe, last week I told y'all, hey, go ahead, download the Fetch Rewards app, and the first people who hit me up on IG, I'm going to give you guys a shout-out. So shout-out to Sam Marinas1, K Santos 727, and then Jamian Mitchell Kinder. If you guys want to see yourself on a future Raiders Report, hey, listen the heck up. But I will tell you this, you guys have to go ahead and download the Fetch Rewards app. If you're a shopper and you're trying to be more responsible with your money, trying to get more bang for your buck, the Fetch Rewards app is the top app out there right now. It's free to download. The link, chatsports.com/fetch. Not only is it up on screen for you so you can see how it works. Also, I'm going to do my best Vanna White impression here. You guys can see how the app actually works. But it's also going to be in the comments. It's going to be in the description. Use promo code Raiders to get 3,000 bonus points to convert some of those points into actual gift cards. Now, if you want to see yourself on a future show, I want to have a little bit of a friendly competition because I don't know about y'all, my family, we are super, super competitive. So what I want to do, I'm going to make like a leaderboard of the people that have the most fetch rewards points. So if you're sitting there, you're like, dude, I got a few thousand fetch rewards points. DM me a picture on Instagram at MitchellRens365, and the 5 people who have the highest score, you're going to see yourself on a future Raiders Report show. If you're like, wait a minute, I don't have any points, chatsports.com/fetch. Use promo code Raiders. That gets you 3,000 bonus points right off the top. All right, let's continue to talk about some of this Raiders head coaching rumors because until they hire one, man, I'm not doing my job unless I continue to talk about it. Now, I did find the latest head coaching odds, and this is according to DraftKings, so please keep that in mind. Jim Harbaugh at plus 125. Rich Bisaccia is at plus 250. Doug Pederson, Josh McDaniels at plus 600. But as you noticed, a big-time drop-off between Harbaugh, Bisaccia, and then the next closest guy. Brian Daboll at plus 650. Eric Bieniemy plus 750. Gus Bradley, Todd Bowles, both at plus 1,000. The next 4 names in here, Dabo definitely is pretty surprising he's on here, but hey, he's been connected to the Raiders ever since he was seen taking pictures with Mark Davis a few weeks ago. Kellen Moore, Byron Leftwich, Matt Eberflus, all up here. Here's where it gets a little bit interesting because I see Sean Payton at plus 2,000, and according to sources here close to Chat Sports, I mean, we know that Payton is thinking about moving on and potentially not coaching for New Orleans. Now, he might take a year off. He might go to Fox Sports. He's got definitely a lot of options. I also had somebody ask me, what about Mike Tomlin? Here's the other thing. Mike Tomlin, I really truly believe if you're going to put Sean Payton at plus 2,000, he also should be on this list. Now we're going to keep this thing going because you got Nathaniel Hackett, Matt Campbell, Darrell Bevell. The only reason why I'm not that crazy about these odds is because DeMeco Ryans not on this list. Jerod Mayo, he is technically on it, but he's all the way down at plus 2,500. If I was the one making these odds right now, I would have Jim Harbaugh. You got to have Jerod Mayo. You got to have DeMeco Ryans up there pretty high. You got to be able to have Rich Bisaccia, Josh McDaniels. The fact that some of those names are so far down kind of makes me think like, all right, I think they're just trying to throw out names out there. And then we got the final 3, Lane Kiffin, Howie Long, and Peyton Manning. As you guys can see, sometimes these guys just try to get you hooked. What we do here at the Raiders Report is give you the actual information, another reason to subscribe. So after seeing all those crazy odds, here's your time to look into that crystal ball, and this is what Vegas is all about, right? Rolling the dice. Who will be the next Raiders head coach? I want you guys to let me know down in the comments section. Now, I've been a believer for a very, very long time that the Raiders, they will hire a GM before they hire a head coach. As it stands right now, they have only interviewed 4 people for the next general manager job, taking over for Mike Mayock. They have interviewed Trey Brown, who they actually interviewed before, back in 2019, who's considered to be a very smart college football scouting guy. Dave Ziegler, who has been the general manager, if you will, not quite the general manager, but basically the GM for the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick's second right-hand man. Champ Kelly, who's been very highly regarded by a lot of Chicago Bears players, plus Khalil Mack. And then my front runner, Ed Dodds. This is the guy that I want the Raiders to go out and get. So here's going to be my next question, and I'm going to tell y'all when I think the Raiders are going to hire a GM. But first, I want you guys to go down in the comments section and let me know who's going to be the next Raiders GM. You're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break, and then after that ad break, I'm going to tell you when I think the Raiders hire their next general manager. From everything that I've heard from people that I trust inside of the organization, the Raiders could potentially be looking at the end of the week to go out and hire their next GM. Once the next GM is then hired, then guess what? Then you're going to start seeing some other dominoes fall, and then hopefully we know who's going to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, if you guys haven't already, my DMs are open on Instagram, which I will warn you have been just an absolute shit show the past week, the amount of DMs I've been getting. But you can always ask me questions, and I always tell people, like, hey, you can give me a follow on Instagram. There's a lot of other reasons why you could, but I do a better job, at least recently, news and rumors. When I do this show, I get it. Like, I only get a certain amount of studio time. To make sure that you never miss any news or rumors, check out my Instagram stories. I'm going to start doing a lot more IG Lives now that the season is over. You can get to know me more personally, and as you saw earlier on today's show, future shout-outs. Those are all the reasons why to hit me up on IG. Now, here's another thing. I'm on Twitter as well, at MitchellRents365, and I saw this tweet by Raiders cornerback Casey Hayward, and this essentially came right after the Chiefs and Bills' absolute shootout game. And Casey Hayward tweeted on January 23rd at 9:25 p.m., Josh Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Jackson. He's talking about Lamar Jackson. Man, AFC gonna be good hands for a long time. All young bucks too. Sheesh. He tweets that out, and Raider Nation had an absolute meltdown. And I'm going to do my best impression of every person who got upset about this tweet. But what about Derek Carr? What about Derek Carr? I mean, reading comprehension is a very, very key thing, especially on Twitter. Carr's not a young buck. I know he might look like a young dude, but he's going to be 31 years old in March. So, like, that's product one of being able to read Casey Hayward's tweet. On the second level of this is this. Hayward's not going to say this, but my job is to give you guys my opinion and give it to you straight. Carr is a good quarterback, and I've said 100 times on the show, he's not top 10. He's good. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to win you a Super Bowl, but he's a good quarterback. But for you to sit here and say that he's on the same tier as Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, I'm sorry. I think you're absolutely crazy. And then on top of that, I'm going to take Joe Burrow over him. I'm going to take Justin Herbert over him. I'm going to take Lamar Jackson over Derek Carr. That's not sitting here saying that Derek Carr's not a good quarterback. It's me being a realist and not having the beer goggles on for him. And here's my other thing that I don't like about Twitter, Instagram. I don't like the idea of me saying that Carr isn't a top 10 quarterback or me not kissing Derek Carr's feet makes me a hater. No, it doesn't make me a hater. And I hate the idea of, okay, you basically have to bow down to DC, and then if you don't do that, then you're a hater. You know what I love about Twitter? I posted two stats, one about Derek Carr playing well and one about Derek Carr not playing well. Guess which one's getting more attention? Derek Carr not playing well. Why? Raider Nation on Twitter absolutely loves drama. So here's the thing, y'all. I'm going to let you guys go down in the YouTube comments, and I want you to rank these 6 quarterbacks. Now, the way that you guys see it up on screen is actually how I would rank the quarterbacks if I was building a football team right now. I would take Mahomes at 1. I would take Josh Allen at 2. Joe Burrow would be 3rd. Justin Herbert would be 4 for me. Lamar Jackson would be 5. And then Derek Carr would be number 6. But like I always say, this show is not about me, it's about y'all. So rank those 6 quarterbacks for me down in the comments. Now, after watching this Chiefs and Buffalo game, I mean, it was just an absolute roller coaster of emotions. I was watching with a bunch of my buddies who are Chiefs fans, and I'm sitting there, the only guy at this party, I'm cheering on the Bills, right? I got a lot of family in Buffalo. I talked to them, and just the overall just ups and downs. But if there was one takeaway I got, and almost like that itchy feeling, when you watch Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes play, it really, really, truly made me want an elite quarterback. Now, I get it. Elite quarterbacks, they don't grow on trees, right? And I also understand that Jimmy Garoppolo's not elite, and he's made it this far. Joe Burrow, he didn't even throw a touchdown pass, and they won a game. I understand the idea of being able to win football games in the NFL is definitely more of a team sport. But if you didn't watch that game yesterday between the Bills and the Chiefs and think for a second that Derek Carr would be able to go blow for blow with either of those two guys, personally, I think you're crazy. But yeah, it made me want an elite quarterback. Now, if you're going to go out and get an elite quarterback, I really truly believe there's only 3 names that are realistic. You have Deshaun Watson, and if he doesn't have his 22 allegations, he's number 1 on my list here. Russell Wilson, I get is coming off a little bit of a down year, but Wilson, I honestly think could play for another 8 to 10 years. And then you have Aaron Rodgers. Think he's a douche. Don't like him personally, but you know what? Aaron Rodgers is still one hell of a quarterback, and he is a bad, bad man. In terms of Rodgers, because you're going to start seeing a lot of Rodgers stuff start to pop up. Now, I always try to keep you guys up to date on Raiders, but there's that old saying, right? Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Right now, Rodgers 2022 odds, and this is based on Rodgers not returning to the Green Bay Packers. Broncos at plus 250. Steelers at plus 350. If I was Rodgers, out of all the teams on here, I personally would go to Pittsburgh. I wouldn't go to Denver because I wouldn't want to be in the AFC West whatsoever. But as you see at the very bottom, Raiders at plus 900 odds to get Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that that's the move that's going to end up happening. But here's the thing at the end of the day. If you made it this far in the video, I can guarantee a few things. We're going to give you guys Raiders videos every single day. And I can guarantee you there is always going to be a lot of Derek Carr drama. So if that's what you guys are in tune for, hit that sub button and make sure you turn on those notifications, because if anything crazy happens, we're going to be keeping you up to date here on the Raiders Report.